one of the things that one of the things that's often overlooked, and it's not really talked about at all. Everyone will see ships in a port of call, and they have a flag that they're flying on the back stern. You know, some people might wonder, why do we still need to do that? Something that's often overlooked, but as Lou said, it implicates so many things in international relations, international treaties, UN declarations, etc., that if you're flying the colors of a particular country, that entitles you to certain things. If you are not flying a flag and you are an independent rogue operator in international waters that is going to be deemed to be a threat of some sort, you have no or none of the safeguards as if you were operating a boat or some sort of vessel which was flying the flag of Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, whatever. It means something under international law. It has a very distinct meaning. So that's number one. Second thing that Lou said, that when we were going back and forth off air about all this stuff, and I got to tell you that there was certain times where we were going back and forth, and certain concerns were raised and certain things were said. And one of the things that I think is so compelling for everyone out there, and certainly for me too, not to say it wasn't compelling for Lou also, but he has a very different perspective because he's been deployed. He's been doing this, or had been doing this, for years, as he talked about with his experience. So his experience is very different from mine. And just as a layperson, some of the concern I have is because I don't have a big trust factor for the government of the United States. I don't care who's in the White House, just putting it out there. If the White House press secretary or the president or someone authorized by the president goes to a microphone and says, "Don't worry, they're narco-terrorists. They have all sorts of drugs on these boats. We know, don't worry about it." I do, in my own instinctual way, when the government tells me one thing, I think another, because I don't trust them. They haven't earned my trust for the balance of my life. So one of the things that was particularly, I suppose, helpful for this administration, I think it was last week, that a Coast Guard helicopter was chasing one of these narco-terrorist boats. And instead of having a missile take it out, I think one of the gunners or a sniper on the helicopter took out the engines.
The hit runs. Yeah.
And when they boarded the boat, lo and behold, they found, I think, 20,000 pounds of cocaine. That would be something which really hasn't gotten a lot of airtime, and I don't know why, because this shouldn't be a political issue. It should be an issue about, is it something that's constitutional? I don't care who's in the White House. I don't care who's in charge of Congress. I'm concerned, is this a constitutional action being taken by the country that I love? Is it something that is A, constitutional, B, does it fit when you actually put the facts together? And if those other boats were the same as this particular boat and they found 20,000 pounds of cocaine on this one because they just disabled the engines and they were able to retrieve the contraband, that makes it a very, very different point of view and an argument, because up until that point, I think there had been 3 or 4 different boats that had been blown out of the water, and there had been some indignation expressed by senators and congresspersons from both sides of the aisle saying, well, how do you know that there's actually drugs on those boats? And I don't trust. I get it. But this last one really kind of was one of those, okay, we see it with our own eyes. Here's the contraband that was on that boat. And that certainly helps the administration and what they're trying to say. And that's great for a PR standpoint. But again, the purpose of this particular episode for Lou and Rob is to talk about the constitutionality of it.